Haley came to WT after the college he had been attending in Midland shut down.
He left Midland College. When Midland College, well, the first Midland College that existed in Midland was Midland Christian College. They decided to close the school so he didn't have an opportunity for a four-year education here. His mother insisted that he go on to Canyon, to West Texas State, and finish his degree.
And he was a real man about campus here, on the football team and rodeo and the school newspaper, and just had a hand in everything.
He was a history major here at WT. He also, if I remember correctly, played football. He wasn't a first teamer, but he did play football. And of course, you know, a big person in football in those days might weigh 180 pounds, and Mr. Haley didn't come anywhere close to that. And he was, from what I can understand, was a member of all kinds of different scholastic societies on campus, different clubs and so forth.
Well, when he got up there, he was so involved in and learned about those pioneer ranching settlement families up there that he felt like that was his calling, and that actually produced the motivation for him to go on and dig in with both feet, so to speak, in that Panhandle history.
My college career as an undergraduate ended on this day. When I walked across the rostrum and President Hill handed me my little slip of sheepskin, my days as a student of West Texas State Teachers College was over. The receiving of a degree marked what most people look on as the culmination of work done in study. I expect to make it but the beginning.
While he was an undergrad here, the Panhandle-Plains Historical Society had been founded by Hattie Anderson, who was one of his professors in history here at WT. And so he actually sat in the classroom with one of the giants of the society, and then took the baton from Miss Anderson and went out and did what she charged him to do.
He was the first field collector for Panhandle Plains Historical Society in the mid-20s.
When he graduated here, they named him a field secretary right away and gave him a few dollars and a Model T Ford, and they just kind of set him loose and said, go out and pick out and approach these people. One of the great things to remember about the Panhandle Plains Historical Society and Miss Anderson's role in founding it was, she said, these pioneers are still alive. Our history is so fresh and new, we can go out and actually talk to the people, gain artifacts from the people that are still alive and can tell you the stories.
He believed that America's and Southwest United States' best stories were best told through people that lived and could give their accounts of what actually happened and how it happened. The interviews and the biographical files of material that he collected are just magnificent, and they really give people an insight to how life was on the range. He was a tremendous chronicler and documentarian of those periods in which he was active. He possessed a remarkable ability to capture what would be important and relevant to future historians about those time periods. And I don't know of any other individual that had that impact on Texas history or Southwestern history that exists today.
And so Mr. Haley took that advice, took that baton, went to see Mr. Goodnight, went to see T.S. Bugbee, Harold's cousin, went to see all kinds of different people who were still alive in the Panhandle, talked to them in person.
I think the main thing to remember about Mr. Haley's writings was that he believed that the Southwest was settled by people and efforts of people. He told a lot of the stories of the Southwest through biography. His chosen subject, of course, started with Charles Goodnight, with his interviews with him in the late 20s.
I think Haley's youth maybe gave him a foot in the door to begin to develop a relationship with Goodnight. It was said of Goodnight, he rarely turned down a young person's request, whatever it was. They developed a close friendship as time went on, and Haley interviewed him. I read the other day it was 4 years. I knew he spent quite a long time here at this house in Goodnight. The office of Mr. Goodnight was the prime place that Haley and Goodnight spent many hours. Haley taking notes on Goodnight's stories.
And his notes are wonderful because his handwriting's virtually illegible, but he was always taking notes.
And we have correspondence files that now number, we finally identified that many of them, that they've come to over 3,000 people that he corresponded with during his writing, his correspondence career. So those letters reveal significant ideas and philosophies from that range cattle industry people.
He got a start here under Hattie Anderson, and you know, as far as distinguished alums, there are very few who can hold a candle to Mr. Haley as far as his accomplishments, both scholarly, as a speaker, as a preserver of Western history. There are very few who can come even close to that. And I don't mean just here at WT, I mean across the United States and across the world. That's the great thing about Mr. Haley, is he's right in the middle of history as it was unfolding. And how often does an historian or a folklorist get to do that?
So his hand is all over Texas history in different institutions across the state, and we're very fortunate to have that from him. He was always of the opinion, and it shows in his letters and his writings, that history is what it is and it shouldn't be interpreted to be changed from what it was. He believed that the stories should tell their own story, and let that be the case that it was made.
Working in a museum, you know, we preserve artifacts, but mainly we preserve the stories that go with them. And if we don't honor those legacies, then you know, we might as well close the doors. You know, a static artifact under a glass case doesn't mean anything unless you have a story to go with it. And that's one of the great things that Mr. Haley did, was he not only captured the artifacts, but he captured the stories that went with them.